What's up, everybody? Here, just had the mic muted, but we got to talk about some absolute bullishness with some stories that have come out today, and also things that are loading into what's happening. Everybody, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell, drop what you're grateful for in this chart in the chat right now. Let's get this going. We got some stuff to cover. Let's get it, baby. What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome to the BitLab Academy Daily Stream. We got to talk about some patterns showing a potential bottom in Bitcoin. We got to talk about the ETH to Bitcoin chart going up. We got to talk about Fetch AI. We got to talk about Solana. We got to talk about Caspa. There's so many things. Also, Coinbase suing the SEC. So much going on here. We're going to cover all these things and more. So I want to see everybody getting involved. Are we setting up for that true, absolute, just moonshot price action to the upside after we're done boring everybody in this market? Every one of you. Storming the Castle says, grateful to be here. I'm grateful that you're here. I'm grateful that I'm here with you. So let's do it. Can you please check Tau at some point? You know what? Absolutely, I can. I actually want to do a whole video on Tau, but we got to talk about what's going on in this market right now. So let's go ahead and dive into the charts and see what it is we're talking about. We got a beautiful Adam and Eve pattern right here on this, bullish pattern, falling wedge, but it broke bearish. This is what we call a bear trap as it stands right now currently until price action comes back down and breaks below this $59,000 level, essentially really the low of this zone. But as this is just committing people to go short, only to actually have a bullish structure here with this Adam and Eve structure, this V with this roundingness right here, also higher low, substantiating a little bit more bullishness. And yet currently price is pulling back. If we're looking down on, like, for instance, the 15-minute time frame, what we can really consider is happening here is if we extrapolate this out just a little bit further, we can see where this is touching. We see the touch. We've broken past this as it stands right now. If this holds, this is incredibly, incredibly bullish. Now, why is this? Because we have this essentially descending trend line that was a previous support, then was resistance. Now we're breaking through it. Unlike here where we broke through it and fell back down, we kind of broke through it here, fell back down. In this case, we've broken through it and currently are starting to find some support here. If we can find support here, this will be an absolute, I don't want to say nail in the coffin, but another brick in the bullish wall, substantiating a likely price movement up into this zone. And then once we clear this zone a little bit higher, we're going to be talking more about this here in just a little bit. Shout out Alex Green in the house. De Silva, how you doing? Alexandra G. Allison Jorday, oh my God, please, she says. Well, let's talk about this. We got Ethereum also breaking beyond the similar trend line, finding support twice, also with a bit of an Adam and Eve here, pushing up, finding support above these levels. This is beautiful. But the most important chart when we're thinking about altcoins is this chart right here, looking at the ETH to Bitcoin pairing. Excuse me. When we zoom out, all the way back to December 2016. Support. And look at where we're at. We fell through this, really scaring the life out of people, only to push back up into this, get rejected at this multi-year trend line, getting rejected, coming down, now finding support at these previous range highs, but also establishing a much higher low. Starting to build those bricks. This is what we're looking for when we're looking for shifts of trend in the market. Lower lows all the way through until we have, look, a higher high followed by a higher low. Two of those bullish bricks have been built. It does not mean it's all over from here, but we can also see this descending level of resistance all the way through here. We also see the price action here on the ETH to Bitcoin chart pushing up, meaning ETH is moving a little bit faster than Bitcoin is at this point. And if we can push up and also clear this level here, this multi-year trend line, that would be incredibly bullish for all those altcoins that we're talking about. So let's go through some of the things we want to go through on this chart. Also in some of the Twitter stories we have. Everybody out there, I want you to hit the like button, show some love, hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet, and let's go ahead and dive on into it. When we're looking at this, we're right pressing up against that 2.3, just under it, $2.29 trillion market cap for all the crypto out there. So, we're seeing some movement, but we're still seeing some hesitation. Now, why would that be? Always ask yourself the context of what's happening with price action. We got a very important conversation that's happening this evening with two political folks. I don't want to get demonetized by talking about it too much, but we got a big conversation happening tonight, as well as we got the GDP data today, which was positive because we're basically flatlining there on the GDP. It's not diminishing. It's we're seeing some non-negative stuff, but then tomorrow we have the PCE coming out, which is further inflation data. So that these 2 days are fairly packed. In addition to all of this, when we consider what's going on right now, we can also see right from Scott Melker here, $10 billion in crypto options expire this week. What does this mean? Options. These are people betting in the futures market months in advance where they thought price was going to be coming into the end of this quarter. So now we have the weekly, we have the monthly, and we have the end of Q2. The end of quarter two is happening, right? The last tradable day, I believe it's Friday. It might be Sunday because Sunday is the 30th. But it's coming into this right now. And so this is interesting because based on the skew of the data we see there, traders are eyeing potential positive shifts in Bitcoin by July 12th and Ethereum by July 5th. Interesting that Ethereum has this date of July 5th because remember, we also have the ETH spot ETF approvals that should be happening between now and that time, whether there's an announcement first and several days before they're live, or if it's going to be S1's approved and next day. We're going to have to see how this plays out. But there's a lot of positive bullish speculation coming into what's happening in July. Not yet alone, we talked about yesterday on the Discover Crypto channel where I was co-hosting, we were talking about June and previous months previous cycles where we've seen June be red months. July has historically been green, meaning in previous cycles where June has been a bearish, basically downward price action from when the month opened to when the month closed. The following month, July, has historically been bullish, meaning price action. It doesn't mean necessarily it's going to go up 70%, but where the month opens and where the month closes, there is a positive price action. Now, there's a lot that can happen in between there. You have to realize that, especially with where we're at in the markets, this market cycle, and with how many eyes are on this. There's stands to reason that we can see not only with Bitcoin, but altcoins and etc. See price action still whipsaw around before it actually has that resolution to the upside. But remember, when we're talking about coming over here, let's type in hash ribbons, we're still getting that pressure on the market from miners shutting off. We can see that right here. This is a hash. Hash means how many miners are turned on securing the network. When the miners become less profitable, some of them are forced to turn off because it costs too much to mine Bitcoin for the rewards they get. And we get a little consolidation. Some miners dump some Bitcoin on the market, but you also get some of them somewhat being either forced to close shop or actually be acquired and consolidate into larger mining conglomerates. But what we're seeing here, we're watching this essential basically flip bearish. And when we look at the past cycles of when that buy signal flips back, where the miners start flipping back on, when we correlate this, I've shared this about a week ago. Let's go ahead and delete this right now. We can see, I looked at the last 5 that this happened on. And other than this is a bear trend, so we're talking about bull trends. The last 5 times that this flipped bullish, we can see that the markets have gone up basically on average 121% following this move. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to be 121%. In this case, we had 66%. In this case, we had 149%. We had 81% here, 257% here, and 52% here. So we're seeing a lot of different pressures and then also geopolitical questions about what's going on. But then we also get this positive story coming out of Van Eck. Investment manager Van Eck filed for application with SEC to launch Solana ETF. I'm sure you've seen this on a lot of the channels, but I got to cover it just in case somebody's only watching here. Now, this does not mean that the VanEck, this does not mean that the Solana ETF is approved, but it's starting to get on that main floor of topics with the SEC, with institutional awareness, with all these things. Are we going to see a flood of other institutions, primarily considering, where is the, I think it's, yeah, right here. Primarily considering these players right here. These are the people we are paying attention to. Do we see a flood of other applications from BlackRock and Grayscale and Fidelity and ARK Invest and Bitwise, etc., Valkyrie? Or are they going to be standalone and this is just the ball rolling? And remember, even when BlackRock filed for a spot ETF, it was sometime last summer. It took all the way to January for those ETFs to be approved. So this is not something that's going to happen overnight. It's so we have to consider when we are looking at, for instance, Solana, we have to understand that on the 3-day, we're in this massive bull pennant. Wonderful. Let's get down to the 2-hour. We got on the 2-hour incredibly bullish, right? We broke out of this broadening wedge that we highlighted the last couple of days. In fact, many coins were in that broadening wedge. This was a slightly less broadening wedge, but broke bullish, came down, retested it. We also see ONDO still trading sideways. There was another one I wanted to talk about. There's a broadening wedge. Here we go. Avalanche, broadening wedge, breakout bullish, retest, move to the upside. So this is having a broad impact on the altcoin market as a whole. We can go ahead and turn off the hash ribbons because that's irrelevant there. But look at this. We have bullish divergence on Solana coming into this move to the upside. We held high and tight with the price action really tight to this upper bound, ultimately finding support on this previous range high. And then we got that news that it basically substantiated a further buy pressure that comes in. And we could see this in the volume on this chart. You see, if we turn off all these other things, see, this is how much volume was traded on each candle. When those of you all see this on chart, in case you don't know, these bars is how much volume was traded on each individual candle. You see very diminishing volume coming into this, and then we get that news, boom, explosive volume coming out. Now, I'm not suggesting bullishness or bearishness in the near future here, but what I would say is we have to be, somebody's retracting a bunch of messages. I don't know what's going there, but that's all good. Hopefully somebody wasn't being I'm not going to say the words. But what we want to pay attention to here, sometimes people see this and they go, oh, it's going to run away. They buy here. Somebody bought at the very top of this wick. You can only have a buyer with the seller, right? You can only have a seller with the buyer. So somebody bought the very top of this thinking it was about to run away. And that same type of person will likely sell when this moves back, only to confirm the breakout to have a continued move to the upside. Now, I'm not saying this move back to this line has to happen, but it happens more often than not. In fact, we can see this perfectly played out right here on Avalanche as it did this. So just pay attention to that. If you do see a little bit of a sell-off on Solana, that's just identifying the speculation of the news story, the sell the news event, bulls coming in to defend, then having that move to the upside. So be aware of that. So when we're seeing, these options expiries, when we see that, where's that other story we were just talking about? I don't know. The positive news here with the SEC application for the application to the SEC regarding Solana. There's still a lot in play. It doesn't mean up only after you get a good news story. It means that there's opportunity both up and down coming out of it if you understand this. It's all good, team. It was all me. So Alex was retracting his statements. He must have posted something there. Now, shout out to the 204 people in the room. We got some TA we're going to be covering, looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum to Bitcoin, Caspa, Solana, Avalanche, and a couple other coins here as well. So stick around. We got to cover some of this. We just have to remind ourselves here on these moves. Look at these moves, previous cycles. I don't know if you can see because my face is in the way, but I've talked about this a lot. This is at 2016 into 2015, really, all the way into 2017. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's actually 8 moves of 26 to 40% retracements on the way up. And we're worried over here. Look at this. This is so luxurious comparatively with what we've seen in previous cycles. We're only considering here 23%, 15%, 30%. This is not even considering this massive move that was about 52% to here before the global economic shutdown right here, that block swan event. If you measure it from this top, remember we were at about $3,100 up to $13,800. and then a sell-off from there all the way back down here. This was a 72 or something like that % pullback to ultimately then resolve to the upside. So this has just been a beautiful, luxurious bull run, and we're worried about this little dips. These are opportunities, baby. Always bringing that alpha. Shout out Crypto Brad Fox. Big love to you. I appreciate you. I appreciate each and every one of you that's here on a daily basis. And even if some of you that are only here periodically, I just appreciate being here with you. The more we can communicate healthy tools, resources, and unbiased looks at this market, the more of all of us will do well in this market. And the more of us that do well, our families notice. And it's the best advertisement for this space out there is us doing well in this market. I want you all to do well in this market. That's why we have the BitLab Academy, not only this channel, but also bitlabacademy.com, where we have the full courses, but also the Discord with all the basically full community support and charts and chart requests and signals, all that. You can see that link right there next to at the bottom of the screen there, lab.bitlabacademy.com/deal. Use that while that's still good. You get 15 days free and then 33% off for life. So shout out to everybody. There we go. Now let's go ahead and continue on with some of these things. I want to get in these charts. Let me throw one in chat if you want to get into these charts and look at some levels. I do want to highlight this. I shared this yesterday. Important. We got that artificial super intelligence ASI merger coming up, which is between Fetch AI, Ocean Protocol, and AGIX Singularity. This is important. You have to realize if you're holding your coins on Coinbase, that is not a wallet. If you're holding your coins, whatever your assets are in Coinbase wallet, that's different than holding your coins on Coinbase Exchange. If you're holding your coins, for instance, Fetch or Ocean on Coinbase Exchange, not the wallet, they are not, right here, you can see won't execute tokens, won't execute migrations on behalf of users in the upcoming ASI token merger. There's going to be some steps you're going to need to take. If you come to this chart I'll retweet this or actually put this in the live chat. You can read more on that. Directly below this, you can see the full article, but I took a snapshot of the most important thing here. This means that Coinbase would maintain trading support. You can still trade Ocean and FET for a little bit amount of time until further notice, essentially, while allowing users to perform migrations through self-custodial wallets, including Coinbase Wallet. The exchange said that the ASI token merger would be compatible with all major software wallets. So the merge is going to be like if it's in your MetaMask or if it's in your Coinbase wallet, Trust wallet, so on and so forth. So you need to pay attention to that. So now coming on further here, where are we at right now? I've talked about this time and time again. I'm going to take my face off here. Maybe you can see it if I go like this. The black line. We are exactly where we should be post-halving. Let's calm down. We are about to go on the run of the century. So let's stay calm and carry on because this market's about to take us to Valhalla, as DZ likes to say. Continuing on here, we see deliberate and concerned effort. Coinbase sues SEC and FDIC. This is very interesting. Seeks to unearth via Freedom of Information Act. That's what a FOIA is, FOIA, Freedom of Information Act. Clear strategy to debank crypto. Pattern of multi-agency effort to deny banking across crypto industry. Will find hard evidence of choke point 2.0. This will be incredibly bullish if we get some of the things that they've been trying to do behind closed doors to lit access to crypto. If this moves forward in a positive way, this could be incredibly bullish for the crypto market. Scott Bot says, "What's up, Kelly? What's up, Scott Bots? How you doing?" Okay, let's see this. I'm just trying to make sure I'm checking all y'all's comments here. Now, I think we're about to hop into these charts because I don't have many other stories I want to talk about. Oh, we got to talk about this. The Dixie, the dollar index. This is going to be positive fuel for the bulls in crypto. Due for a correction in the dollar index, aka a breaking down, is bullish for crypto and risk assets. It's a setup for the bullish narrative of money moving into risk assets. Tell Kelly, I can't remember. Tell Kelly, tell that leverage crypto webpage. Crypto leverage webpage. You talking about this? This is a velodata.app. You can basically come here. It's free. Create an account. I'm not affiliated with all. I just love it. Velodata.app. And then once you come over here, you go to charts. Boom. And once you're in charts, right here, indicators, you add aggregated premium. Just type aggregated premium. You get that. And aggregated open interest is the other one. And you can see, are you getting positive and increasing, meaning more people are going long, or negative and increasing, meaning more people are going short on leverage? This is what we're paying attention to. This gave me the indication we are breaking down. As it stands right now, you see, this was the setup. As this came down, this was the setup for the move back up. So now, are we about to get that move up? Let's see. Let's see. But there's something else I want to show. Here we go. Today, the U.S. final Q1 GDP report, employment data will come. The primary focus is on employment data, blah, blah, blah. But what we're looking at here primarily, this chart pattern, rising wedge on the DXY. If you go to Coinbase, if you go to your charts, just click on the chart. Just click on the chart and then type DXY. Come over here to all. See US dollar index. Boom. That's how you pull it up. And you will see this similar formation here on the 4-hour chart, rising wedge with bearish divergence into this rising wedge. See, these peaks are higher, higher, higher. This works on all assets and all things that can be charted. And the RSI, lower, lower, lower. There's weakness coming into the dollar, and rising wedges tend to break bearishly. A bearish break on the dollar would be a bullish flag in the cap, a feather in the cap for all of this Bitcoin bulls. Now, before we get into these charts, looking at what's going on in this market, I just want to shout out our channel sponsor, Arculus. GetArculus.com. This is where you can do one tap swap store, and best crypto cold storage wallet solution out there. Multi-factor authentication. Your keys are not on your phone. You have the card, you have your PIN, you have your seed phrase for your actual on-chain wallet address as well, plus your biometrics. So it doesn't matter if you lose your phone, doesn't matter if you lose your card, doesn't matter if, I hope you don't lose your face, so on and so forth. There's multi-factor. So if you lose your phone somewhere, if you leave your card somewhere, you need all those different things to protect your crypto, basically to actually have access to that. So this is my favorite cold storage solution. Check it out, getarculus.com. Use code LAB10, LAB10 for 10% off your crypto cold storage. Yeah, but due to correction, it could take a minute. Well, let's see. Due for correction. Here we go. Now we're sitting kind of middle of the road right now. We have this sort of Adam and Eve pattern we talked about. We do have quite a bit of, a little bit of liquidity down below us. But when we zoom out on this, let's actually shrink this right here. Come back over here. Highblockcapital.com, by the way, if you guys want to use these, this is where I get all these liquidation data that I share with you guys. And it really gives you a great example of where those liquidity pockets are. What we see when we zoom in here, clearing out the liquidity to the downside until ultimately we have a little bit of a pop-up here. I don't know if you can see it. If I go like this, let's see. Nope. I don't know. Yeah, you can see it there. A little bit of a pop-up here. And we do have this zone directly above us, 62.2. The next zone here, 63.2. And then we have all this open liquidity here if price can push up here. And that would be massive for the price action if we can push up there without having to take this liquidity down here first. Hopefully we just leave this behind. I had too much coffee this morning. But we do see the wind shifting. So all this negative outflows from the ETFs, but we had 2 days now of inflows, which is good. But what does that mean for price? What does that mean for what's going on here? Let's look at it. We have the Adam and Eve pattern. If we zoom out on this just to get a look at what's happening here, we have just looking generally, let's go to the daily chart. We still have this bull flag, but when we're zooming in on what's happening here, we have the Adam and Eve pattern. We also looks a bit like a bearish pennant when you zoom out like this, which does get a little bit scary, right? But we're doing the work. We had the bullish impulse, came back. Let's get back down a little bit smaller. Currently, the price is looking at potentially flipping this previous resistance. This previous resistance, looking to flip it to support. That's what we call an SR flip. Here we go. Shout out Tiggle Biddies says right here, says, I got my dad an Arculus for Father's Day. If it's easy enough for that man to use, believe me when I say that is literally easy enough for anybody to use it. Shout out Tiggle Biddies for that shout out there. Appreciate you. It is. It's my favorite cold storage solution. Now we had the falling wedge. Boom, 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 boom. We have the Adam and Eve pattern. We have the higher lows here. We have a potential flipping previous resistance to support. If we can push up and take out this sort of zone here, 62,000 to 62.3. And what were we just talking about on the liquidation zone? 62,000. See, I'm looking right here at price. This is where I'm looking. My mouse is right here, 62.2 up to about 63.3. So that's the zone we're looking at. So what is this? That's 62.3 right there. And we're looking at getting up here to that next zone of liquidity that's in the chart. Happens to line up with this large area of bounce, rejection, rejection, bounce, bounce, support, 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 rejection, support, or rejection, support. We've got a lot of substantiated previous price action coming in right at the zone where we also have the descending level of resistance. Now, in addition to all this, Adam and Eve pattern, what's the target on that? Well, what you do, let's go ahead and delete this. Let's pretend we have a neckline essentially right about right here. It's going to be approximate, right? So you draw a trend line from there all the way down into here. And again, this is not going to be an exact dollar level, but we're looking like this. This has a target up here in the basically $65,300, $64,000 range, which look, if we extend this out, that's a previous horizontal level of interest with all the price action here. So we have a potential bottoming, basically bear trap pattern that shows that this was likely a bear trap. We have the higher low. We have this the attempt or that we can see actively with the price action now looking to flip this to support. And if we can break past this sort of neckline right here, the next zone is right in here, 63.2, 63.3, this zone here, and maybe a small rejection here, and then a breakout here. This would be wonderful. And again, everything's going to be a little bit contingent, I think, on some of the talking points that happen tonight on that primetime television show that's going to be happening on CNN later. Shout out to Matt974 and the Dusty Hunt. I agree with that. For those of you that are in that meme coin, that likely will, it's going to kind of depend on the direction of what happens with that conversation tonight, right? But we're seeing bullishness here with this potential reversal. And then Ethereum, we talked about that multi-year sort of deviate. We're on the 2 hour, the multi-year sort of deviation below the push up, back up, finding support, moving up right in here. I do think that once we do get some sort of positivity confirmation around with those S1s approved and the date, we will likely get a bit of a pop above. What we'd like to see is a pop above this major trend line and come back down and find support. Again, if you weren't here earlier, major trend line, this line right here goes all the way back to 2016. The gates of the next epic alt season are basically getting knocked on right now. So let's be positive about what's happening. Solana, macro bull flag right here. This midterm macro bull flag, or you can just call it a symmetrical triangle. Let's just call it a symmetrical triangle. Boom. Measure this out. The target out of this would be a breakout of this would be up here at $350. And that's the conservative measurement. If we were to measure this like a bull flag, you don't even want to see what this would, because this is just outlandish. It feels like right now, this would suggest price actions going up here to $2,000. Now, I'm not going to look at that and be like, I'm trading this to that. I'm going to look at this constructively, patiently, and realize that, yes, we just got some positive news, but we're still within this pattern on Solana. How many of you are holding Solana? How many of you, at what price point did you get in? Because remember, this went so high last cycle, all the way up here, almost $260, only to fall in the bear market all the way down here to $7. Look at this. What is the low there? The low is about $8. on this candle right here, see I'm seeing OHLC. That means of each candle my mouse is over. See how that changes every time I move my mouse? It has to do with each individual candle, the open of the candle, the high of the candle, the low of the candle, and the close, right? Now remember, I'm going to back it up to basics here because I forget to do that sometimes. Every candle has 4 data points. You have the open, the high, the low, the close. Now, the open is where the actual candle, like for instance, the bullish candle opens this candle body. This is where it opened. The low will be how far whatever wick is here. This is called the wick. How far price traveled during the time this is a 1 week candle. So within this 1 week, the price action went all the way down here, even though it opened here. But then the bulls brought it back up and went all the way up to here, the top of this wick. That's the high. And then the close is the top of this bullish candle. It's the opposite for bearish candles. This is a candle here. The candle, if it's bearish, opens here, closes here, and within this candle time frame, also went as high as this and as low as this. I feel like I just had like a fly on me or something. So understand that all these data points give you great data as to what's happening in every asset. In this case, we've got a bullish structure somewhat forming here. I mean, really forming here on Solana. And the fact that now it's basically on the institutional stage with this ETF application. Now we can also see, let's get back over to Avalanche. Avalanche, we nailed that call. Do I have like a spider on me or something? Ooh. So we talked about this, basically the setup here for the price action coming down here into the 23, 24s. It came right down into it. Now we're starting to get an inkling of price action moving to the upside. However, with this being said, we haven't yet really substantially done one of the main things we need to do, which is take out this zone right here. This is looking good. We had we had the falling broadening wedge, meaning it's a megaphone open. These 2 points are open further than the closer points here. Patterns that trend down tend to break up. What we get came down, flushed down to here, broke up, found support, now moving up. Currently, it's a great posture here on the 4-hour chart. We need to, take out this zone right in here that we are currently in. I always have to click 6 times. There we go. With this bounce here and this rejection here, see this bounce on the bottom of this box, this rejected near the top. We are just entering this zone right here. Now, as it stands, as it stands from this, you sucker, option F from the top to the bottom, we're coming right in on this move. We're coming right into this 382 level, which just means 38.2% of the move has recovered. It's a Fibonacci level, but we can also see from the larger move, we are still under it. So either way, either way you measure this, that box that we just outlined there, also relative to where the price action was, that 382 outlines the low side and the high side of that box. So we're coming into a zone right now. It's going to be important. If we clear this, we're going to be looking at this target up here at $31, $32. And then once we clear that, likely to the upside. Again, a lot of things are going to be held hostage on the uncertain speculation about some of the things that happened this evening. And then we also have that PCE data that's coming out tomorrow. But let's look at near, broadening wedge, breaks out bullish, comes down, finds support, now is trading sideways. A lot of things are waiting on this data. A lot of things are waiting on the signal for Bitcoin to actually start breaking to the upside. We see injective, W pattern, breaks out above this zone right here, this previous high, comes down, is testing this zone, but is held hostage by this larger trend line right here. Once we are able to clear this, there's quite a bit of upside for the next zone to really pay attention to. Cardano, still kind of being held. It's being suppressed. It feels like the market, the belief isn't quite there. Had the bullish impulse up, came back down. We still have negative money flow though. We have the stochastics rounding out. We have the, when it goes from $200 to zero, I'm going to laugh at you. Which one are you talking about? I don't know. Oh, you guys. Okay. Listen. So Satoshi Nakamoto says Solano is the new Squid Games. Well, I mean, if you believe that, then you're not seeing the buying power. I'm not particularly a fan of Solana, but I cannot deny how much there's been so much institutional chatter around Solana, and the fact that now they have a spot ETF application, you can't deny that. You can't deny the size of the community that's involved with Solana either. So you got to realize that. Now, Cardano here, large move up, rejected right back down, but we do have higher lows here. This is looking like it's like there's some bulls in there that want to run and the bears bring it back, and the bulls that want to ring. But if we can maintain this posture here with this higher low, maybe another rejection in here, and then the breakout, that would be a sign of great times coming for Cardano. DOT also having a pretty nice run here, pretty nice move. We have this sort of neckline here, kind of a inverted head and shoulders, shoulder, head, shoulder. And this is making a move up. Where to? Previous range high right here and all these lows. Flushed all the way through this box. Even if DOT pulls back into this zone down here at $6, maybe even a little lower, $5.95, that would still be ultimately the testing. Remember, we got the breakout. Don't feel like you missed it. Wait for the retest and then that move. Then you get in somewhere about right there. That's what you want to do. That's what people consistently making trades in this market profitably do. You look for the setup, you let it play out along with the confirmation, and you get your move. Some of the trades you'll miss. Some won't even have a confirmation. They'll just continue running, but that's okay. There's so many different assets out there that we can trade and be a part of. We need to stop jumping just because the market starts moving. I don't want to miss it. Let's stop doing that. But DOT is looking great. Aerodrome has been falling. We're on let's go to the 8 hour. Look at this. So high up here. 238, almost 240. And then just falling. This is looking like it's coming in due for another test of this zone here, 79 cents, maybe even straight sideways here at 74 cents. But if, this looks like actually a giant falling wedge, or what does it look like? Let's figure this out. There's no point over here, but we do have this right here. So down to boom, to this. If this can start to resolve out of this, a lot of bearishness on this 8 hour chart though with these signals, a lot of negative money flow here. Let's get into the 4 hour. If this can, hold these lows into the zone, then we're looking for a move up into 81 cents and 88 cents, this is a more important zone, this 88, 90 cent zone, and then maybe potentially resolving the upside. GRT, we have not looked at GRT in a minute. GRT coming down, tapping in the zone a few times. We've got a bit, it's trying to make a move, but it's trying to make a move. Let's see. We got a bit of a trend line here. We've got a bit of a trend line there. And look, high and tight. So you see how this is down all the way to the top, all the way to the bottom, all the way to the top. And now it's holding right about that midway zone. It kind of pulled back to right about where these lows are. If this can push out, I'm watching for a likely rejection about 23.50, 23.5 cents. See right up in here. Likely pull back down into the zone and then a continuation. But this is looking like it's trying to have a bottom potentially, but this technically could break either way. It's going to kind of be determined on which direction the market breaks, but you can kind of go like this, option, copy, paste, drag this up like this. The two different levels, the measured move could be all the way down here at 16 cents or all the way up here at 27 cents. Again, I think this is going to take the direction that the market moves. And because this is high and tight here, and we have the VWAP angle back up, we have the stochastics bounce back up, I would lean to the fact that this would more likely break bullish first. And remember, this might be the target, but it doesn't mean it's going straight there. So move up. Bastard. Where is it? There. A move up into this zone right here, right? Likely sort of retest down of some sort, and then having the larger move to the upside. Swarm markets. How many guys are in Swarm? SMT. It's one of those RWA plays. Again, shout out to any of you that have looked or watched last week. this tokenizing the world video, really great information about RWAs and the likely amount of capital that's coming into them. And the fact that there's a good indication that over time, the RWA space, real world asset tokenization, tokenization of treasuries, of real estate, of art, there's so much in the RWA sector that it will likely also be moving in its own, not directly only the direction of Bitcoin. As these markets mature, the different asset classes within crypto are also going to start creating their own cycles. You have to realize that. And so when we're looking at, for instance, swarm markets, we do see that we've got, came down, tested a level that we had marked out here for some time. All the way back here, we're seeing this, boom, came all the way down into here. A little bit like Bitcoin, how we saw the falling wedge, bear trap to the downside. Now let's watch for if we can hold the zone and push back up into this, find some support. This would be, another quite small market cap here that could be having some pretty bullish price action if this is able to resolve back into the zone and continue up. Another one of those RWA tokens that does have, it's one of the first to have some licensing and regulatory approval, I believe in Asian markets. For tokenization of financial assets. Then you also have CHEX, which the conversation that I had, this one here, tokenization of the world, one of the co-founders of that project is of this project. And this looks like, especially for a micro cap, it's a newer project. So it's going to be a little bit more volatile. Excuse me. This is looking like it's coming back to, look, right in the zone. Option J, right? This is looking like it might be, and again, this is a micro cap, could be a good opportunity for a small allocation here for getting an RWA asset that already has some licensing and some approvals, as well as a pretty decent community. And we have, look at these bullish divergences, multiple coming into the zone, falling because it's not just, oh my God, the project's bad. The general crypto market was falling through this period of time. Is trading sideways or falling, and those micro caps tend to fall further than mid-size and large cap coins. Now let's see. Brad Fox says the graph wants to break out. Well, we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, CHEX is looking like it may be coming into a good opportunity zone. And remember, these micro caps, you never know what they're going to do. So you have to trade and invest accordingly. Because, you have something like ONDO, for instance, that has, some ties with what's going on with BlackRock. Very strong chart. We talked about the breakdown here with this head and shoulders. Price action essentially did that, came down, found support a little bit short of it at these previous range highs. W formation. Now it's feeling a little suppressed right in here. But once it starts breaking out, I think that, I think we're going to see some pretty strong price action. MATIC. We haven't talked about MATIC in a minute. Let's see what we got going on here. Let's go to the 3-day chart. Man, I thought it was older. I just realized I was on the 3-day chart. Yeah, this goes all the way back here. So this is feeling like a pretty large, maybe not there, something. I don't know where this line would go. No distinct line, but let's go to the day, 12-hour. Okay, 12-hour, we do have a trend line right here. Okay. Let's go to the daily. So, yeah, it's somewhat breaking down. Is this kind of, let's go right here. Yeah. So, boom, boom, boom. We're having a little deviation below, but I want to remind you guys how many partnerships, real partnerships, Polygon, MATIC has. I do feel like this is undervalued, and dropping below this line does kind of indicate to me that it's shaking some weak hands out. This is still something that I think is going to perform incredibly during the bull trend, when we do get that bullish breakout. As it stands right now, it's still looking a little weak, but we do have, lower lows, and then we tested this here. We don't have a higher high yet, but we started forming higher lows. If we can maintain that, then there's bullishness, but one could argue that this is a bit of a bear pennant. Remember, Polygon MATIC is part of the ETH ecosystem. if we start getting strong bullishness in the altcoin market, I expect the community to come back strong and likely, break bullish out of this, find some rejection, find support back here about 59 cents, and continue its trek back towards the upside. But that's what I'm seeing today, guys. Everybody, remember, if you want to learn how to do TA, if you want to learn how to trade, if you want to have the power of a strong crypto community behind you, head over to lab.bitlabacademy.com/deal. Get involved there. It's 15 days free. You can sign up, get involved. We're going to be having some member streams. I've had a lot of stuff to do on the back end, but that's why I'm so happy we have such a strong community with Alex Green and John Dalton and Corduroy. There's so many people in the BitLab community that if I'm not able to do a post or a stream every day, there's so much, pro content that's shared on the daily basis, but there's a lot more coming. I'm working on something super special that's going to be access for everybody, easy access for everybody. But take advantage of this while this is there. And we're going to be heading over to, I believe, DGen Alpha is happening today. So I think we're going to be heading over there now. Let me see. Yep. We're heading there right now. So as we wrap out, let's head over to the DGen Alpha stream, share some love, share some lab coats in the live chat. Let's tie these communities together. I love you all. I appreciate you all. I just want you all to succeed. That's what I really want. That's my goal through this, all this community that we're doing together. Again, shout out to our channel sponsors, Arculus, and also Polkadot and Galactics. I hope you all have a wonderful day. That's all I got. Adios, muchachos. Adios, muchachos.